Hey everyone, welcome back to Everyday Shed. I'm Carlos and today we're going to be talking about shed vents. We're going to cover everything that you need to know about your shed vent. Why you need them, where to place them, how to size them, and how to install your shed vent. And the reason you need a vent on your shed is to keep the moisture level down so it prevents mold, rot, protects your tools. And probably the most important reason for having a vent is to have a fresh circulation of air inside the shed, especially if you're thinking about storing paint cans, gas cans, or having some plants inside your shed. You want that fresh air. Now let's talk about how to size your vent. Well, the rule of thumb is for every 150 square feet of shed space, you want 1 square feet of vent. Now that's some math involved there, but the way I like to do is keep it simple. What I say is small sheds, anything up to 8 by 12, you need a 6 by 6 vent. Anything medium size, which goes up to your 10 by 12 shed, I recommend a 8 by 8 vent. And anything on the bigger side, you can go with a 12 by 12 vent, or you can do what I do. I only carry one size in my trailer. I use it 8 by 8 regardless if it's a small, a medium, and on the large side, I use 2 of these on each side of the shed. And now we move on to where to place the vents. Well, if you have a lean-to shed like this one here, or sometimes they call them modern style sheds, you want to place the vent as high as possible so you can allow the heat to escape. That's the same approach you're going to take on your traditional shed. You place it right on the peak, allowing the heat to escape. Well, there's also a second method on how to place the vents. And this is if you prefer to have a cross ventilation. And if that's the case, you want to place one vent on one side of the shed really high, and the second vent goes on the opposite side of the shed really low. That way you get a cross ventilation inside of the shed. And before you go out and purchase your vent, make sure you look for one that has a mesh screen right behind it. This will prevent from critters and bugs climbing inside the shed. For my builds, I use this one every time. It's very resistant. I'm gonna leave a link in the description and a QR code for you right here so you can find the same one. And I'm gonna show you how to install it. It's very easy and straightforward. And to install the vent, the first thing you need to do is obviously locate where you want the vent. For this case, I'm going to install a vent on the low side and a second vent on the opposite side of the shed, but all the way on top of the wall. Whenever I'm installing these vents, I mark how big they are, and then I make another mark about ½ inch to an inch shorter than the actual size. You can cut this pretty much however you like. I like drilling a couple holes on opposite corners and using a sawzall to cut straight down and across. If you prefer, you can use a circular saw, a router bit, it's up to you. And if there's one lesson learned here is that you should check what's on the inside of the shed before cutting the wall of the shed. I did end up nicking an extension cord that was against the wall, which is my fault, and I learned from it. And to wrap this up, I do like adding a bit of silicone around the vent and then screwing into place. Some people may think it's unnecessary to add the silicone since it's already open to the air, but I always like to add silicone whenever installing anything against the siding of the shed. And for the second vent, which is going to be higher on the wall, I actually want to show you guys a jig I made so I can use it every time I need to install a vent. If you often build sheds, this little jig can help you tremendously. With this jig, you can easily run a router inside, cutting precisely the size you need for the vent, and when done, you can remove the jig and then continue installing the vent. Now you do want to check these vents regularly. Make sure they're not blocked by spider webs or debris or any other bugs, because you want to protect the shed you just built. And if you haven't built a shed and you're thinking about building a shed, make sure you check us at everydayshed.com. We have free plans available that helps you step by step on how to build your own shed. And if you're pretty handy, you want to make an extra $1,000 a day building sheds, make sure you join Shed School. Shed School is a community where we come together, learn from each other, not only as a side business, but also as a full-time business in the future. So make sure you check us out at Shed School. And I do hope you learned something in this video. I'll see you inside Shed School. Thank you for watching. Bye.